If you could give me your opinion on why is it that even the Democratic candidates usually are so pro-regime change, with the exception of Tulsi and maybe a little soft-hearted Bernie Sanders every now and then, why is it that both parties seem to agree on regime change and just trying to change everything? I mean, even Donald Trump himself, he said that he wasn't going to be against it, but he did, so.
Yeah, so I first agree with most of what you said, but I have to make one small correction, and that's about Bernie Sanders. So Bernie Sanders has done multiple interviews where he's been very clear about how he's against regime change wars, and specifically regime change in Venezuela. So I don't know where that narrative comes from, that he's soft and somehow in favor of regime change. He's been so defensive of Venezuela and preventing a regime change war that he gets a lot of criticism from people on the left of the Democratic Party. So look, I think one of the biggest issues we have in this country is that there is a profit motive behind war. There is a profit motive for regime change in Venezuela. Regime change in Venezuela means opening up the country to business interests here in the United States, specifically business interests that are looking at the oil in Venezuela. So unfortunately, we have this corrupt system. We have these oil companies that have a stranglehold on our politicians, both on the left and the right. And we have to fight to get that money out. We have to fight to get that corruption out of politics. Unless we do that, we are not going to have politicians who actually look out for our best interests. They're going to look out for the best interests of the individuals who are funding them and paying them to push for these types of wars. And we have an entire, industry that profits off of going to war. So, I mean, think about it. Under the Trump administration so far, it started with North Korea. Are we going to go to war with North Korea? Then it went to Venezuela. Are we going to go to, and then now Iran. It doesn't matter who the politician is, even politicians who say they're not in favor of regime change wars. If there is a profit motive behind the system that we currently have, anyone can be corrupted. And so we got to get that money out.
And one last question, because you were here yesterday, great speech. We get a lot of infiltrators here pretending to be journalists, but they're actually just rabid Trump supporters. Yeah, they're like, we want an unbiased media, but you're not journalists yourself, so get the hell out. Now, what would you say to those people that keep insisting every time we mention a social issue, every time we have a complaint, because that's what this country's about. You're supposed to complain, otherwise you won't fix your problem. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous. What do we say to those people that just say that people like us, progressives, people just have a minimum of concern for what's going on with the people of this country when they say, oh, shut up, you're just a socialist, you suddenly don't have a right to exist? I mean, what's the counter argument to that?
Well, I think one thing that I'm learning, and it's difficult, is to stay calm in those situations, and you're never going to be able to persuade those individuals, right? But there might be people watching their shows who you could persuade. You can plant a seed, right? So I think it's a much better tactic to remain calm, and it's hard. Remain calm, answer their questions calmly, as long as they're willing to, listen and not interrupt you, which is sometimes not even the case. But just understand that it's not about the person who's interviewing you. It's more about the people who are watching, because there are individuals who can be converted, right? And you convert them through evidence, through facts, and through understanding their stress, their pressures, their financial issues. A lot of us on the left and the right are dealing with the same corrupt system, the same economic pressures, and so I think it's better to it's better to go to them from a place of understanding. I gotta go. Thank you.
They're very solicitous, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there we go. That was just a question related to the constant mentioning of socialism to just basically disqualify your argument, whether it's socialist or not. Because apparently the other side, and I hate to talk about the other side, I would actually like for us to reconcile under a very open national dialogue, but sadly every now and then, whenever we have a complaint, something that we want to fix, we just get labeled as communists, even if we're not. So that's a very unfortunate thing, and we'll ask some other questions later.